Gene Kranz stressed the value of leadership and teamwork, and he says those two things are what made the Apollo moon mission possible.
Overall, they were young, they were willing to accept a challenge, take risk, and they were damn proud of what they were doing.
Apollo 11 flight director Gene Kranz says his crew was one of a kind.
They not only owned it, they loved it, they wanted to live there. I mean, we were the window for the world into space, to the moon.
Kranz says the crew worked together for 6 years before the actual launch, and he says that gave them the ability to conquer mistakes together.
The business of mission control, and every member in mission control, is one that's learned to some extent the hard way. You don't learn it from books. You have to learn it by experience. And that is what I call risk management, risk judgment.
And he says things did go wrong during the mission.
We battled to get to the surface. We had communication problems, we had navigation problems, a computer reported minor electrical problem, we had computer program alarms.
The biggest challenge came when the lunar landing module almost ran out of fuel.
We landed with 17 seconds, by the way.
He says Neil Armstrong's and the rest of the team's risk judgment was what made the landing successful.
But how many of you have been driven down a snow-laden road with the wind behind you and it's still snowing, so the snow is moving at the same speed you are? That was exactly the situation that Neil Armstrong was in as we landed, because the lunar dust was blowing ahead of him, and he had to reach out and find a rock or boulder or something he could use to establish a stable reference and use that for reference for landing. It was pretty tight.
When the words "the Eagle has landed" echoed through the speakers, Kranz says the team in Mission Control had to stay focused while dignitaries celebrated.
And they erupted in cheering, stomping right on down the line, clapping. And you could hear the sound coming through the double glass windows there. And it's seeping into the room. And my team has to be cool as a cucumber, because we have a job to do. We got to make sure it is safe to stay.
Kranz says the team did it for those astronauts who lost their lives in the Apollo 1 fire, as well as those who lost their lives in war.
We did it for those team members. We did it for America.
Tonight on Star City Late News, Gene Kranz talks about why we haven't been on the moon in the last 50 years and what we need to do as people in order to make that possible. In West Lafayette, Nina Schlossberg, Star City News.